Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday.
I love the vibe. I really like this group.
Richardson to the basket. Tough lay in and one.
A wide open three is good.
Part of being a good leader is having guys who are willing to follow.
They compete. That's the one thing I've noticed. They get after each other.
Dante flush.
Indy top left. Three is good. Indy Rogers.
What I really appreciate about them is they do want to just play.
And that's what happens when you bring it every day in practice. You become a disciplined, reliable player.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Let's talk Oregon Ducks basketball. From the Country Financial Studio, alongside Terry Jonz, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you and welcome to Toyota's Tip-Off Tuesday. The Ducks coming off, look, we know a couple rough weekends, but the weekends ahead are positive ones. It's a rivalry week for Oregon men's basketball. The Ducks taking on the Beavs in Corvallis at 7 o'clock on Saturday. And then things shift up a little bit with the Pac-12 tournament coming up for the Oregon women. Arizona in town, 7 o'clock on Thursday, and ASU noon on Saturday.
Yeah, 14th ranked Arizona. Ducks had a great game with them down in Tucson.
They did.
And very close. And look, even the 7-game losing streak, they've all been pretty close. That's the good thing. It's also the frustrating part is just some changes here or there, a few plays, a bucket goes in, whatever, that they would probably some of those would have been wins. In fact, I looked before the game Sunday against Washington. If they scored 65 points in those games, they would have won 4 of the 6 at that time that they had lost. It's just, this is crazy. But they keep getting back up and getting after it.
You said it, though. That can be even more frustrating when you're losing the close ones. And you know why I know this? Because that's exactly how I feel with the Oregon men's program right now.
Yep.
Yeah, the men's program losing in overtime by a point to Washington on Wednesday. That one was a gutting loss. Then returning home, had a couple extra days to practice before traveling to Pullman, losing that game. And it seems like the Ducks always play at Washington State either – well, a couple things. 1, late in the year, and 2, on big days. It's always senior day or it's Klay Thompson jersey retirement day when the Ducks play in Pullman, and it hasn't gone Oregon's way at Washington State of late. So where does that put the Ducks? Well, on the men's side, they're in 6th place in the Pac-12 standings. They're only, though, a game behind the 2 teams that are tied for them tied for 4th place in front of them, I should say. So there's still a lot to play for. The final 3 games of the regular season, first against the Beavs, then the Ducks are at home against the Bay Area schools. Getting into the top 4, that's really important. Sure, in 2019, the Ducks won 4 games in 4 nights in the Pac-12 tournament. Yep. And, coincidentally, Oregon was the 6th seed. If the tournament started today, the Ducks would be the 6th seed in the Pac-12 tournament. I think everybody would tell you, though, it's a little bit more likely for Oregon to win the Pac-12 tournament if the Ducks are in the top 4. And I think that's one of the goals here moving forward. They've got to capture some momentum. We're going to talk with Chuck Martin, and to give you a little preview, Chuck Martin gave us, I thought, one of the quotes of the year in his interview with us earlier today. That's coming up about how the Ducks are operating now heading into these final games. And so, yeah, there's a lot to play for still down the stretch. And you've got some great interviews today, too.
Yeah, the big guy, Kelly Graves, always great to talk with him. He understands what's going on. I mean, he's been around the block. Now, this is something that he hasn't always gone through. In fact, very, very rarely when he's built programs and just never had this dip like this once they got to the top. So going through that's a little bit different. But this team still gets back up off the mat, like I said, and they go fight again. So we heard from him. And then Kennedy Basham, who maybe had a little bit of a breakout weekend this weekend. We saw some things where we went, whoa, now we see the potential that she has. And great to talk to her and get to know her as that's all coming up here on Tip-Off Tuesday.
Hey, nice scheduling on the broadcaster's part right after that breakout weekend. Good job.
Oh, yeah, and we were going to have her anyway. I know. I guess I should have told her, but, yeah.
Good job.
But it worked.
The broadcaster
it was
did
great.
his part.
We all had it planned out. It was all us.
Broadcaster did his part
Yeah.
on that one.
Lucky.
So, the schedule ahead, though, we're going to be in postseason before you know it. And I got to say, again, it really has felt like postseason the last few weeks for both of these teams. And I think both teams are probably on the outside looking in on the bubble right now. But a chance to get back on the bubble and maybe on the positive side of the bubble over the next few days. So when we come back, let's talk with Chuck Martin. Great conversation. I'm telling you, quote of the year at the end of part one of our interview.
I look forward to it.
And I really hope that he is prophetic with this quote. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
At Mountain Dew, we believe you shouldn't take everything so seriously. Like not being able to keep up with all the latest internet memes? Not serious. Not being able to log into your crypto account? Serious. Not being able to remember your partner's favorite color? Kinda serious. Not being able to remember your partner's eye color? Very serious. Making sure you have plenty of Mountain Dew around when you're having a good time? Serious. Borrowing a Mountain Dew from your friend? Not serious. Borrowing one every day? That might be getting serious. Mountain Dew, the only thing we take seriously is to do the do.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
You're listening to Ducks basketball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes!
Too much waiting for me. Yeah, I wanna go outside. I wanna be.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We're back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota in the Country Financial Studio. He's Terry Jonz. I'm Joey Mack. The Ducks are actually practicing, if you're live with us in the 2 o'clock hour right now. The Ducks are practicing this afternoon, getting ready for that trip to Corvallis, 7 o'clock against the Beavs. Televised on Pac-12 Network, 6:30 pregame show right here on the Oregon Sports Network. Chuck Martin, Oregon men's basketball assistant coach. Great conversation about the week that was, update on him as it's his first year with the staff, and just a really great conversation with Oregon men's basketball assistant coach Chuck Martin. Welcome into the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's the second time that you're on Tip-Off Tuesday. It's the third time in general in the Country Financial Studio. I asked you for a 2-minute life story previously. Do you have a 30-second life update? Have you settled in after being here a while now?
Great question. I do have an update.
All right.
I've settled in. I've got a studio not far from here.
Great.
Kids are in school and living their own lives in New York City and Gannon University in South Carolina. Wife came to visit about a week and a half ago.
Nice!
So she got a chance to visit Eugene. She loved it. It was great. So that's my life update in 30 seconds.
I know that coaching, it's sort of part of the gig that you guys are you're gonna do this at times in your careers. And how difficult is that, Coach? Like, can you put it in perspective for people like me that have been in one place his entire career? Like, it's a challenge for you and a family.
It's a challenge for me, but more importantly, for my family, for my kids. And you don't really realize it because your routine is really the same. You wake up, you go to Starbucks, you go in the office, you make recruiting calls, you watch film. And really it hit me like 6 years ago when I moved to South Carolina, and my youngest one at the time was 11 or 12. So he's cognizant now. He's aware of hey, we've moved 3 times in 5 years.
Yeah.
And so that really hit me when he said, hey, Dad, I want a pool.
Yeah.
I said, you're not getting a pool. And he said, Dad, we've moved 3 times in 5 years, I said, you'll get a pool.
Okay. Yeah, that's good negotiation tactic.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah. That's wow. Beyond his years. In negotiation aptability.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always amazed though at the lifestyle that you guys live, but you must love it, right? It's a grind though.
It's a grind, but you know what? I'm so fortunate. I think all of us are, because we get a chance to live in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
We get a chance to meet incredible people. Our families, as you touched on 2 seconds ago, they get a chance to also go along this journey with you.
Sure.
And they don't understand it at the moment, but as they get older, they realize they're able to adapt to different situations and talk to people from different backgrounds, and it serves them well, I think. I hope in the future when they become adults.
Well, I tell you, I mean, you know, so I started in this when I was 18, and I've met so many people, been to so many different places. Like, I can't even tell you what I would be today if it wasn't for that. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right there. My son is now 6 months old, and I hope to be lucky to be doing this long enough to where he has some experiences that he doesn't realize how cool they are until like 20 years later.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Chuck Martin with us. The team. So I feel like the theme of the weekend for me, and I'm curious what you thought, especially after a weird weekend with playing on a Wednesday and a Sunday, coming back in between, changes the routine. I feel like this is a weekend where everyone can point to 1 or 2 plays and say that was the difference in the game. But then also it's never 1 or 2 plays. It's usually more than that. But Coach Altman's used the phrase that in a 1-possession loss, the microscope goes under 1 or 2 plays.
Right.
How do you guys handle that? Like, because players I know take that hard, right? Like if they make one mistake, it's amplified. But then everyone on the team probably made mistakes. How do you go about, I guess, coaching that?
You know, it's a fine line, because you certainly have got to address it if it's an issue.
Right.
For example, we turned the ball over way too much. You've got to identify the challenges that we had in those particular games. But I also feel like you've got to instill confidence in your guys and say, hey, we've played really well, and we've had games where we've had low turnovers. Yeah. So we can do this. We've done this before. But for some reason, the last week or so, we struggled with the ball, taking care of the ball.
Yeah. Consistency, I feel like, is what the team is looking for the most right now. Because, you know, case in point, you have 10 turnovers in the first half against Washington State. You have 2 in the second half. I mean.
Yeah, if you know, in any game, you know, whether it's on the road, at home, high school, collegiate, in the NBA, if you don't take care of the ball, that's, you know, if you got 10 turnovers, there's 10 less possessions you had at the rim, and if they're unforced turnovers, I think as coaches they hurt even more, because you're essentially just giving the ball away, and if you're turning the ball over, that leads to open court opportunities for the opponent. Then that's really hard. That's hard to overcome.
Turnovers are always like there are a few categories that when Coach Altman comes out and sits down with me and he looks at the box score, I know his eyes go to first.
Yeah.
What are those categories for you? Like, where do you look on the box score post game immediately?
I think rebounding and turnovers, because I think at the end of the day you got to take care of the ball, and you got to go rebound it. Yeah. You've got to, if it's one of those nights where you're not shooting the ball really well, then you've got to create second and third opportunities by going to the offensive glass.
Yeah.
Defensively, you've got to limit teams to one shot and one shot only. If they're struggling from the field, you can't give them second and third opportunities, because if you do, your chances of winning that game is going to be really, really difficult.
You know, it'd be interesting you bring up rebounding. I've been talking about this on the broadcast. That the rebounding margins on the season for you guys are great.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're phenomenal. They're one of the best in the league. But then the second chance points aren't translating. You know, what's the key there? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you know, it's a great point, because we actually talked about that. Like, we're doing a good job going to the glass. Now we got to convert.
Yeah.
We got to take advantage of those opportunities. It's almost like creating turnovers, getting out in transition and not converting. It becomes almost an empty possession for you. All the effort and energy it takes to rebound the ball, you've got to get something out of it.
It's easy for me to sit here and say, you know, like, that's a key. But what is the key to I guess, finishing some of those plays?
Oh, I think there's, you know, fatigue at the end of the game. I think mental toughness, being able to finish in the paint. As you mentioned 2 seconds ago, if you're a fan and you're watching it from home and you see one of our guys get an offensive rebound and he misses a layup, it's like, how did he miss that? Well, you know, the 7-footer on the opposing team had something to do with it. The guard reaching, trying to, you know, rake the ball. So, yeah, there are multiple things that would cause a kid to miss a layup.
Right.
We don't want to do it, but obviously it happens.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. Like, there have been a couple moments this year where it's been like, rebound Dante, rebound Biddle.
Sure.
You know, they're like, Is it one of those things too where like they click? Confidence is a crazy thing.
Yeah,
like you never
absolutely.
know when everything can click here down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I love this saying. Momentum is up for grabs every day. So you go to Washington and we don't play well. We're 0-2, but that can change quickly.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we have a great week of practice, and it's going to be a tough game at Oregon State. But you get that one, then you come home for 2. Momentum starts to shift in your direction. Now we're playing on a neutral site for the Pac-12 conference, and momentum is up for grab every day. So what happened yesterday really doesn't matter. Today is what really matters.
It's so hard to practice that. But, man, I love what Coach Martin said because momentum can always be right there. You never know when you're going to be able to grab it, and the Ducks certainly have done that. Has this team done it yet? No. Do they need to get more consistent? Yes. And we're going to talk more with Coach Martin about that coming up before the Ducks travel to Corvallis on Saturday. Tip-Off Tuesday continues on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
At Mountain Dew, we believe you shouldn't take everything so seriously. Like not being able to keep up with all the latest internet memes? Not serious. Not being able to log into your crypto account? Serious. Not being able to remember your partner's favorite color? Kinda serious. Not being able to remember your partner's eye color? Very serious. Making sure you have plenty of Mountain Dew around when you're having a good time? Serious. Borrowing a Mountain Dew from your friend? Not serious. Borrowing one every day? That might be getting serious. Mountain Dew, the only thing we take seriously is to do the dew.
You're listening to Oregon Basketball from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Oregon men's basketball getting ready to travel to Corvallis. The final 3 regular season games for the men, final 2 regular season games at home this week for the Oregon women. Kelly Graves and Kennedy Basham coming up. But first, we continue our conversation with Oregon men's basketball assistant coach Chuck Martin. Part 2 of our chat, continuing the theme of grabbing momentum, how the Ducks do that. How has Coach Altman been able to do that so many times in his career at Oregon? It was interesting hearing Coach Martin talk about that. First year with Coach Altman, how does he do it? Coaches, I feel like, can hold on to losses longer than players.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the players, they want to get out and get better too.
Yeah.
How do you foster that as a coach? That mentality that, hey, the momentum is up for grabs today.
Oh, I think I believe it. Me personally, I do believe that's life in general. You're down and out today on Monday. All of a sudden, you hit the lottery on Wednesday. Life changes quickly for you.
Yeah.
I think in sports that happens all the time. You see, there's a reason why they call it March Madness, right? There are teams who have struggled throughout the year, and they make an unbelievable run in the conference tournament. And they get to the NCAA tournament. Now they continue that run. Momentum is up for grabs every day, and if you really believe that, and wake up every morning with that attitude that it can happen, it's out there. It doesn't, no one owns it. You just got to go get it. Good things can happen.
Historically, the Ducks have been one of those teams that just 4 years ago, making a run, won 4 games in 4 nights in Vegas. I mean, it can be done.
Coach, this is my first year with Coach Altman, but the longer I'm with him, he does have an ability to get his point across, but at the same time, be patient. Like, it's a hard thing to do for a coach, and it takes there's a skill in that. There's a talent in that. I've been around other coaches who are really good coaches, but it's hard to teach and still be patient and still create that vision and foster that idea of, like, we can do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Despite of what happened yesterday. That's a really hard thing to do.
Man, it's such a mentality.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's one thing to sit here and say more second chance points would be great.
Sure.
Limiting turnovers, you know, but the mental aspect, that's really what you're getting at.
Absolutely, yeah, because, I mean, and it's true, right? Like obviously we were disappointed last week, but we're not discouraged. It's like, look, we've got a great opportunity in front of us. We've got one on the road, 2 at home, and then the other games are on a neutral site.
Yeah.
So let's wake up every day with enthusiasm and energy and see what happens.
Chuck Martin joining us. So you talked a little bit earlier about, like, the longer practice week.
Yeah.
That's different too. The routine is a little different. It's kind of nice to have some extra practice.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to kind of reset, regroup. It gives us as coaches an opportunity to watch the film, see the things that we did well. Because often in losses, you just kind of focus on the things we didn't do well. But we did do some things well. You mentioned earlier, we are rebounding the ball at a pretty high rate. We got to continue to do that. When we defend and we're all on the same page, we're tough to play against defensively. Our pressure full court's been pretty good. So, there's some things we got to clean up. Turnovers, obvious. But there are some other things that we've done really well. And the 5 days allow us to watch the film and remind us of we've done some good things. We just got to continue to do them.
7 o'clock in Corvallis coming up. What's the report on the Beefs?
Anytime you have a rivalry, and I've been fortunate to be a part of a few of them in my career. Memphis, Tennessee, Indiana, Purdue.
Good ones.
It's good ones. It's like, it doesn't matter. The record does not matter. This is bigger than the game. This is about someone's grandfather, grandmother who attended the school years ago, and there's a sense of pride. And so they're going to be a tough out. They've got capable players, and if people remember, they played fairly well against us the first time. Now, we also played well in the second half and were able to pull away. But this is not going to be an easy game, despite what people might think.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to quote a couple of my broadcast partners and my predecessors from over the years, that there might be no better feeling than walking out of Gill Coliseum with a win.
Absolutely.
So
no doubt about it.
I'll just put that out there for you, the first time going to Gill.
Right.
It's a good thing to aspire to.
Well, I'm hoping that this weekend by 9 o'clock that comes true.
I love it.
Yes.
I do want to ask you a little bit about the Pac-12 in general.
Sure.
Now that you've gone through and have played everybody in the conference,
sure.
What is your assessment after 1 year in the league? What do you make of the conference?
Well, I think the league doesn't get its due. That's number one. I think that the talent is better than people realize. And I'm about to state the obvious, but when you're on the East Coast, you just don't stay up to watch the game, so you don't realize how good the league is. It's a skillful league. You've got 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guys that can pick and pop and shoot the ball, put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. It's just better than people realize.
So the tournament in Vegas is going to be a good one.
Oh, I think it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I really do. After going through the league once and seeing the different styles of play and seeing the talent, I think it's going to be an exciting event.
Are you somebody like – I mean, I know you guys keep track of, like, where things stack up, and as coaches, you know better than any bracketologist like I can pretend to be. But the Pac-12 being right now a 3-bid league, that to me, it's like, man, that's tough for me to swallow. It sounds like you kind of agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just better, and it's hard to explain that to people when they're not here every day because they can't see it. And like anything else in life, when there's a narrative that's created, it takes on a life of its own. And it becomes a national narrative. And it's like, no, you've got to come see these teams. You got to come see these coaches, see these players. This league is as good as any league in the country.
Yeah. I want to leave you with this. You obviously know Jermaine better than maybe anybody on the staff on
Sure.
the team. It seems like he's really hitting his stride now. Like, this is the Jermaine Couisnard that a healthy Jermaine Couisnard, boy, what a difference it would have made all season long. How good's he playing?
He's playing great. As you mentioned, he was hurt, so he missed the first 14 games of the year. And the fact that he's been able to come back and contribute the way he has, really, it's a credit to him. Yeah. But also it's a credit to Coach Altman because he's been able to figure out where to play him, how to play him, and he's been able to do that in a short window. I mean, think about this. He had not played the first half of the season. So Coach was able to figure out in a month and a half, this is where I think he could be successful. And I think he's done a great job with Jermaine.
Lastly, we've talked about a lot of them. Sum it up for us. Keys to success, what's going to take down the stretch?
I think, as we mentioned earlier, limit turnovers, particularly the ones that lead to open court opportunities. Rebound the ball, and if we can rebound the ball in the offensive end and convert, I think that's going to go a long way.
Coach Martin? Thanks,
and I
buddy.
appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for coming over. Thanks for the trek. It's the last time on Tip-Off Tuesday this year, so we'll just have to have you back next year.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Chuck Martin, everybody. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, I
Chuck
love how
Martin.
he doesn't have socks on. So that's
he's
a cool dude. That's cool dudes do that.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Are you saying that just because I always wear fun socks on game days?
Oh no, sorry. I did.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Joey.
What a turn!
I didn't
that
mean
Tip-Off
that.
Tuesday has taken.
Oh,
Wow!
No.
I even wore socks with Coach Ulmer's face on them.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
That was so good.
But that's funny.
That was so good. Meanwhile, Kelly Graves, you take it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Kelly's coming up. Coach Graves coming up next. You know, they keep fighting. Both teams are. Let's take a break. We'll have KG coming up next after this on Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to Tip-Off Tuesday. We're talking Oregon women's basketball. Head coach Kelly Graves right here. And here we go, Coach, a weekend in the Palouse and up in Seattle. And I don't know, I don't even know how to ask this, but same story. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint. It's like that whack-a-mole kind of game, right? I mean, one problem rises, you take care of that, and another one pops up. But a couple more losses. But this team, I'm so impressed with this team and the coaching staff. You guys keep getting off the mat and keep playing hard.
It's all you can do, you know. You got to grind. You got to find a way. Each and every game is a new challenge. Each and every practice, you know, you're trying to make sure that our team's spirits are up and that we stay focused on the task at hand and what we've got to do next. I think if you unfortunately look back too much, in our case, it can be a little bit depressing. So the only thing that you can do is try to keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, we're doing everything we can as coaches. We're using every resource possible to kind of right this ship. I know the players feel bad. They're doing what they can. It's not like they're trying to, underperform or whatever. Just we got to, just keep grinding and try to figure it out, and then hopefully something better will happen on Thursday.
And I've always thought in your time here watching you that you do a great job of keeping them loose. And I know last week I wasn't at the practice, but you play dodgeball before the practice, something like that?
We played kickball one day, just at the last 20 or 30 minutes of practice is all. We were going to go short that day anyway. This time of year with the numbers that we have, you can't have a 2-hour practice. So, yeah, we just thought about having some fun and, because they feel the pressure. I mean, we've been pretty good here for a while, and they know that, they're part of, the legacy, and they don't want to be the group that, maybe doesn't get to, the goals that we've set. So, I think sometimes when you feel that pressure, you just got to lighten it up a little bit and try to take their mind off that.
I know everybody's going, ask him about Grace. I know you don't know any more probably than what we do yesterday before the game, but, it was a pretty good sprain.
It is, yeah, and, it's not the ankle that she's had issues with. It's the other one this time, and it's pretty severe. I think we've seen, in the NFL and other sports when these athletes get this particular sprain, it can be a while. There's a chance we don't have Grace back for a little bit. So, we're all praying for her, and we feel bad for her, but those are the things that happen. We're the downside for us is we just don't have a deep bench. We don't have a lot of other options, and so when we lose somebody as important as Grace, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I see her walking around. I'm surprised actually the next day and seeing her walking on the boot, and better than I expected, but there's a big difference in walking around like that and playing a game, isn't it?
There is, yeah. She's not going to be with us this week. We're hoping, maybe the conference tournament or something beyond. So we just got to, you and I have talked about this in the past. Injuries don't always hurt you in the short term because it's human nature for others to step up. This is my chance to go in, and then they maybe overperform. It does hurt you in the long run because you're losing a really good player. So, we just we've got to have that somebody else or somebodies to step up and just do a little bit more.
There were some bright spots. Tahina yesterday. I mean, I tell you, I'm so proud of her because she was in a funk, but that mentally, to be as mentally strong as it takes for her to do what she did yesterday with 22 points and career high 6 3-pointers. I mean, that was remarkable.
It was, and I think everybody, collectively just felt, so great for her. There's nobody has taken this harder than her. Yeah. Nobody. She wants to do it, and I was so happy. I'm proud of her too, that she was able to have one of those games, and hopefully that will propel us. The unfortunate part is we didn't have that other guard go with, and that's kind of been our issue this year. When a couple, have really good nights, especially in the backcourt, we don't get the complimentary third or sometimes fourth player to do the same thing on the same night.
And Philly, 9 points, 11 rebounds. The pick and roll was going a little bit there for a while.
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job. And you saw us in practice the night before, really drilled that because of the way they help and collapse defensively. We felt that was going to be open, and I thought our guards did a really nice job of being patient as they turned that corner and gave her a chance to just catch and finish without her having to make a secondary move.
Kennedy Basham, too. Going to talk to her a little bit later here for the show. And, boy, she stepped up both games and showed, I think, the fans, certainly, for me, I went, wow, the potential that she has.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, again, because of Sedona's injury early in the year, she's had to move up a little bit. People forget she didn't play her senior year in high school, was injured for most of the summer and fall, and and the first part of the season. So she has not played a lot of basketball, and had a good weekend. Both nights, you saw glimpses of what she can do. So I'm really happy for her, and to have that kind of success this late in the year, I think will really help her for the future.
There's a lot of parity in the game, isn't there, now in the women's game? I mean, in the Pac-12, certainly, it's never been deeper. But even South Carolina, went to Ole Miss yesterday, had to go to overtime. But they've had a lot of close games. There's a lot of parity across the country, isn't there? A lot of good teams.
Yeah, there is, more so than, the women's game has always been really top-heavy.
Yeah.
And this conference the last few years has been real top-heavy. But, yeah, I think the portal has a big part of that. Other issues, too. But I think and actually more girls play basketball now at younger ages, and because I think they look at the WNBA, there's a future and all that kind of stuff. In our league, I don't think our league is as good at on top, but I think in the middle and the bottom, it's really improved. So this is the best our conference has ever been.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about scouting reports, your assistants that do the scouts. I mean, now with Synergy, it's not quite, I know back in the day, you've talked about that before, but you kind of missed those days too. But all that they go through to prepare for a game, it's remarkable. They put in a lot of time.
They do, and my staff is great. I mean, they truly are. Sadie, who did this, the Washington scout, I mean, she usually just nails them. But Jackie does the great. Jody does. They all do an awesome job. We prepare our players.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's not our responsibility to go out and perform, but I'm really proud of our coaching staff. I think they've done a really nice job with this team. I mean, we're trying our absolute best, and I know they have the team's best interests at heart each and every day. They come in positive, and I'm really happy with the staff.
All right, Thursday, Saturday, the Arizona's coming to town, and see what you can do. It's senior weekend, by the way.
Yeah. Thursday, the Arizona game, that was, at their place, a game that could have gone either way. Similar to a lot of the others, goes down to the last minute or two. And, we did make the place, and they did. And then Arizona State, I know they've struggled overall in the season, but I think they're actually playing quite well. Almost beat Utah yesterday. It was a 5-point game. I think it was tied. I think Utah scored the last 5 points of the game. This is a big weekend for us. Like you said, the senior weekend. We have some fifth years: Taylor Hosendove, Taya Hansen, Elise Hurst, and then India Rogers. So we have 4 seniors that that we'll have a chance to honor.
Yeah, that'll be great. Hopefully, show up, fans. I know we're all disappointed, but show up. These kids, they notice, and show up and be loud. And who knows? We might break this losing streak and get a couple wins, and then let's go to the Pac-12 tournament. You never know.
You never know, and I think our net ranking is so high, our efficiency rating is still really high. I think if we can get a couple of wins here at home and maybe one in the conference tournament, I still think we're a team that is going to get into the NCAA. I truly do.
Yeah, who knows? All right, Coach. Hey, thanks for always being available. Appreciate it.
You got it, man.
There you go. Head Coach Kelly Graves says. He keeps a good spirit. I know no matter it's going hard. I mean, he has his moments, no doubt. I mean, he does. But overall, I mean, he'll wake up the next day and say, you know what, let's go. He just keeps looking forward. That's what you got to do. Coming up next, Kennedy Basham, who had a breakout weekend up in the state of Washington. Get to know her here on Tip-Off Tuesday after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Mountain Dew, we'd like to remind you that the world as we know it would not exist without the number 0. Which is why, at Mountain Dew, we'd like to recognize the number 0 for making Mountain Dew Zero Sugar possible. Even with no sugar, it packs all of the bold citrus kick Dew Nation knows and loves. It's so good, you have no reason not to try it. As in 0. Get it? Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. It's zero sugar, all dew.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
You're listening to Ducks basketball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
All right, welcome back to Tip-Off Tuesday as we talk Oregon women's basketball, and we have a player guest, and the crowd goes crazy for Kennedy Basham. We always have to have the crowd. We have such a huge crowd here in the studio all the time. So
huge crowd.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, so many people.
How are you, Kennedy?
I'm good.
All right,
good.
She just hurried over from practice.
Yeah.
We appreciate that so
just
much.
Finished.
But a model.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that, but you started modeling at a pretty young age, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely a pretty young age. I don't do it as much anymore. It's hard now, especially I got a lot taller. So I used to do all the runway stuff when I was younger, which was a lot of fun. But now, main priority is basketball. So.
Yeah. How did you get into that modeling?
I don't know. I just kind of asked my mom, and she was like, "No, like, just you're more sports." And I was like, "Yeah, let's just try it." So we like went to an agency one day, and she's like, "Just so you know, like they turned down a lot of people. Like, don't be upset if they turn you down." And I was like, "I don't care. Like, this is just for fun." So I went, and they signed me, and I was like, so then I did a few things with them, and then basketball started to take off. So I kind of directed my attention more to that. But yeah,
I saw a picture of you as I was researching to get ready to talk to you when you were 12 years old at an agency in Los Angeles, right?
Yep, I had one in Los Angeles and then one in Arizona.
That's cool. Phoenix.
Yeah.
So did you born and raised there?
Born and raised in Phoenix.
So what's Phoenix like? What's it like growing up in Phoenix?
It's very
other than hot.
Very hot. Yes, very hot. No, I liked it. I mean, it was pretty cool. The only thing is just the weather. It's very hot, but that's why I came here, for a change. So.
Yeah, I had relatives, cousins that grew up in Tucson mostly. Most of them are up in the Phoenix area now, and we'd go down there for Christmas, and I would say, "Man, I got to move here." They go, "Well, spend the summer here first." Is what they always
spend the
said.
summer. Yeah, because around Christmas time it's nice, but when it gets to summer, it's like you don't even want to walk to your car.
Yeah. Now you were at one high school, and then I think your junior and senior year was PHH Academy, which is a high-level basketball and educational.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I did all 4 years like school at Pinnacle, but my last junior-senior year I did play at a prep school. So.
And you won the national championship, I think, in the the grind.
The grind session national championship. My junior year, we won that.
How cool was that?
It was fun. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah. So now you played volleyball too.
Yep, and then I played volleyball all 4 years in high school, and then my senior year is when I got injured. But the rest of the years I played. I was still in the team and stuff, but I played volleyball too.
So when you're roaming around Matthew Knight Arena down by the locker room, does Matt Ulmer kind of look at you and go, "Hey"?
No, but I look at the volleyball girls, I'm like, oh, like I want to play volleyball too, but that's, too much.
Yeah, they cross over.
Yeah.
When did basketball, you go, hey, basketball's it. That's what I'm going to pursue?
I think I kind of always knew, like, that it was always basketball, and I kind of just did volleyball for fun, which I kind of always was like, yeah, basketball's just my thing. My brother played, my dad played, so I was just like, yeah, basketball's just my thing. I just did volleyball for fun. I only played at high school, so I didn't even play club, nothing. So I wasn't expecting anything out of it.
Got it. So tell us about your family. Now, I saw your mom, and was it your dad that was on
my
trip?
Stepdad.
Your stepdad? Okay.
Yep. Comes with my dog all the time. My little
you look like
Frenchie.
your mom. I could tell.
Everyone says that.
That's gotta be Kennedy's mom right there.
Everyone says that more and more. But yeah, I'm the youngest of 5, so there's 5 of us. There's 3 older ones. They're a lot older than us. They have kids and stuff. And then it's me and my brother who are really close in age, and he plays basketball at Pepperdine.
Yeah, he's like 6'10", 11.
Yeah, he's like 6'11", 7 foot. So.
Yeah. So number one. You picked number 1.
Well, I'm number 11 normally.
And your brother's number 11.
And my brother my brother's normally 7, and he couldn't be 7. So he was like, I'm just going to do your number. I was like, okay. And then I got here, and my number was taken, so I was like, 1's the closest. So, and I've never been 1 or like a low number like that, so I was like, why not?
Oh, you like number 1
Yeah,
now,
I
though?
do.
Is that you might stay with it?
I like it. Yeah, I'm going to stay with it, I think.
All right. Now, you missed your senior year. You had ankle injuries.
Yeah.
And you had double
ankle surgery.
Was it called? Ankle reconstruction.
Yep, on both ankles.
And you didn't get to play your senior year.
Yep, didn't get to play my senior year.
But how did that happen and going through that?
Yeah, so I had ankle problems my whole life. I mean, I'm 6'7", 6'8", so it's, bound to happen. Luckily, it's not my knees, it is my ankles. So, over time, it was kind of just overuse, and then it was actually my senior year volleyball. I was running a suicide, and I slipped, rolled my ankle. Yeah. Had to get surgery, and then I got an MRI on the other one, and they were like, "Oh, like Kennedy, you might need to get this one done too. Like it's on its last string." So then that's why I decided to get both before I went to college.
And I read something where it said flex band in both ankles.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So it's like I have an NIL with them, so it's called Artelon. They're flex bands. It's kind of like the new thing, I guess. It's like what they use basically in my ankle. In a way, so
it's a replacement.
It's like a replacement of what they kind of used to use. It's like a flex band, so it has like more like flexibility instead of just something that's in my ankle that doesn't move at all. It like gives me like
the flexibility.
Yeah, like the flexibility. Yeah.
So it kind of makes it better than maybe you were before. Certainly.
Yeah, it helped. Yeah, it definitely has helped a lot. I mean, I used to be in a lot of pain, so they've gone way better. So.
Now, picking Oregon, you had some choices at some very elite programs, including Oregon, an elite program, and you picked the Ducks. What was it about Oregon that you decided to come here?
I came here on my visit. I love the atmosphere, loved the girls. Like, I could just tell they loved it here, and I knew I wanted, like, a change of scenery. I grew up in Arizona my whole life, and I was like, Oregon's a change, like, super big athletics here. Like, it seemed like I loved the environment, so I was just like, I want to be a part of that, so.
Yeah. So when you're recruiting trips, did you come here when there was a big crowd or anything? Did you get to see anything like that?
Yeah. So not on my official. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the girls were home or they were headed home. But I came on some unofficials. I went to a football game, and then I came down for their Stanford game when they played Stanford at home. So I came down a few times before I decided.
So what do you think about the crowds this year? They're not as big as they were, but still 6,000 plus is pretty good size.
I've never played with that many people ever. So the first game I was like, oh my goodness, we're like, there's so many people. It was our first, like, our exhibition game, and they're like, guys, like, this is nowhere near what like is going to be at our first home game. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people.
Yeah, it's crazy. The fans love you guys too.
Yes.
It's just, signing autographs after games sometimes when you get to do that. You and Chance and Grace, you guys are very close, coming in the same class, and you can like look to the future, what's going to happen, and project. We're not done yet this year. We're not giving up. We still got time.
Yeah, we got time.
But talk about your relationship with Chance and Grace.
Yeah, for sure. We're lucky that all of us like came in as freshmen, and I mean, like, we all just clicked very, like, from the first day. We moved in with each other, they grew up together, but we had never met each other. So I was just moving in with these girls, and like we clicked the first day. We all got along super well. So it made this experience also, being a freshman at a whole new state, like a whole bunch of different people, it just made it a lot easier being so close with them.
How hard was it? You started the season, the first game, and you go out, and this time it's
first
your knee.
Game.
It's
never had a knee
injuries.
problem ever in my life. Never.
That was crazy. And by knee injuries, it wasn't the most serious, but you had to let it heal before you could come back. And then after not played your senior year, you get it for a few minutes, and then
finally got back to it. And then I was like, ugh. And I was like, I've never had a knee problem. Like, if it was rolling my ankle, I'm like, I know how to deal with this because I've dealt with it my whole life. But a knee, I've never had a knee injury before, so it was really new to me. So
you have a knack for blocking shots, and without fouling, you do it really well. So is that you just normal that you just know how to do it, or did somebody teach you?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of always been my thing, especially in high school. Like, I set the record in the grind session for the most blocks in a game for men and women. So I guess I've just always been good at blocking, and I feel like now that I've got to college, it's kind of slowly coming back to me now that I get, like, the speed and, like, especially I've been injured, so, like, just getting my timing back and stuff, so.
Yeah, you mentioned the speed. That's usually the biggest adjustment. Everybody's bigger, stronger, and faster, aren't they, at this level?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm slowly starting to block a few more shots. shots now that I'm getting the rhythm of everything and stuff. So.
Well, this weekend, kind of a coming out for you.
Yeah.
I mean, the team didn't win, and that's the sad part. But
Yeah.
your play really rose up. You had 3 block shots. Well, I think they only gave you 2, but I thought you had 3.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, I did too. I was saying it.
I was like, I looked at it. I was like, I don't think it was 2. But
yeah, and then 4 against Washington. But
Yeah.
how'd you feel about this last weekend, about your play?
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I mean, it sucks we didn't get the win, but I feel like I'm slowly starting to get back into my groove of things and stuff, and just it's fun out there being with the girls again. So.
Well, season's not over. Still got
Yep.
a chance, and
Got a
big
few
game.
more.
So the Arizonas, you know them.
Yep.
They're coming to town this
Arizonas.
weekend. Or actually Thursday, Saturday. A little bit of a
Thursday.
change. Looking forward to it.
Yep, I'm excited.
There you go. Kennedy Basham, 6'7", and I agree with her. Excuse me. That because I was telling Chris Brown, the SID, said that we were at Washington State. They only gave her credit for 2 blocks, and when she got her third, I said that's her 3rd block, and they only gave her 2, and she thought she agreed, so she's right. She's right. And then she had 4 against Washington, and I'll tell you what, I can't wait to start seeing her and Philly out there at the same time. Yeah, you want to come inside? Okay.
Yeah.
So, terrific. I didn't know she was a model until I started getting ready to talk to her, and she started like 12 years old and did some extensive modeling, and great job. She's a great kid, and good to see her. And I'll tell you, this freshman class with her, Chance, and Grace, that's a pretty
good group.
base. And then you got Philly, who's like a freshman, but you're going to be around. I mean, they're going to be fine. And the season's not over. I know fans, we're all disappointed, but it's not over. 7 o'clock, 14th ranked Arizona, Matthew Knight Arena.
You never know. Hey,
be there.
Momentum is right around the corner.
There you go.
See?
Yeah,
you
thank
never
you,
know.
Chris Martin, Coach Martin.
Like,
yeah,
you never know when things could turn.
I mean, could you imagine if the fan, you show up and you're a big part of it? You've heard the players talk about it. That you show up and they knock off 14th ranked Arizona.
Whew.
Right? Yeah. I mean, things change in a hurry.
We'll see. Well, I will say this too, like her stepping up when Grace Van Sluten's banged up, right? I mean, hey, maybe this is the Kennedy Basham weekend. You never know.
Might be.
Right, it could be. Well, both teams for the men and the women, we know, the teams know that it's been disappointing in terms of record, but still season ahead. Senior weekend, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's senior weekend. Taylor Hosendove, Taya Hansen, who transferred from Arizona State. We have Elise Hurst, and then India Rogers going to participate in senior day. So 4 of them. It's kind of interesting that they haven't been here 4 years, but you get to know them. I think the women do a great job of that, signing autographs. A lot of you line around the
so
court.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So, show up, say goodbye, and let's send them off the right way.
Talk about the right way. The right way for the Oregon men is beating the Beavers.
Yes, it is.
7
Nothing better.
In Corvallis. He's Terry Jonz. I'm Joey Mack. Season's coming to a close. Feels like postseason, doesn't it?
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground line.